Saturday today and it's week 4 of the Vampire Diaries Readathon. I usually start my vlogs on a Friday, but I don't know what I was doing yesterday. I just didn't get around to it. So I'm currently reading Crave by Tracy Wolfe and Warrior Fae by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti, as I believe they are the last two that I need to read to complete this readathon, but I will double check my Notion spreadsheet to make sure that's right. But yeah, today's Saturday, it's the afternoon. We're currently building furniture, and this morning we actually went to the zoo, so I'll insert some clips from that. I better get back to helping Jamie build the last of our furniture, and then I will update you a little bit on how far I've got with the books I'm currently reading. So I'm home alone right now. Jamie has popped out. We had to pause on building the chest of drawers that we were doing because we need a hammer for the last bit and we don't have a hammer. So, but yeah, Jamie's out. So until he gets back, I'm gonna just try and sit and read some more of Crave. I'm on page 52 and for some reason, I thought this was like quite an old book, at least like Twilight kind of age. But there's like Harry Styles references, and they mentioned a Harry Styles song that's come out within like the last 2-3 years. So I don't know if that threw me off a little bit because I thought this was like an older book, but it's clearly quite a modern one. This is set at a private school and we follow Grace, and I'm assuming that she is a human and the school is supernatural, but she doesn't yet know that. So whether she is supernatural and doesn't yet know, or she's a human in a supernatural school, I don't know. But she's met a few of the guys who I'm guessing are going to be potential love interests within the series. So yeah, I'm liking it so far. I'm going to see how much more I can get through this until Jamie comes home. Sorry about the lighting, but it is now dark outside and I've only got the kitchen light on, and ignore my washing that's hanging up behind me. This isn't the greatest time to do any updates, but I'm looking at my Notion spreadsheet now that I've been using to track this readathon, and like I said, I'm reading Crave, and I think I said I was reading Warrior Fae, but I'm actually reading Vicious Fae. For some reason I keep getting the two confused, but Warrior Fae is book 5 and I'm on book 3. So I had 3 prompts left. Now one of the prompts that I had left was the supernatural book, where at the very first vlog 1 I DNF'd the book for that prompt, and I was going to swap some of my prompts around. So I'm reading Vicious Fae for the prompt supernatural, and Crave is for the prompt read a vampire book. So I was left with the prompt a book featuring friendship, because I was supposed to be reading Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for that, but I accidentally marked that down as a book with a school setting. Anyway, I'm left with a book featuring friendship, and I have a week left, and both the books that I have left to read are like 500 pages each. So I was reading a book on Kindle throughout this month, and I have now finished it, and I haven't spoken about it because I was reading it on Kindle and wasn't going to use it towards this readathon. However, it will fit the prompt to read a book about friendship. It was called Caffeine. The author, I know the first name was Olivia, but I can't remember the surname. I'll like insert the book cover on the screen, but it's like a YA about this girl. She has these 2 best friends. She suffers with anxiety and panic attacks, and she has a crush on the kind of popular boy at school, and they meet in a cafe, and it's like their relationship, but she has like these 2 best friends and they're featured a lot throughout the book. So I'm gonna mark that down now as a book featuring friendships. Then if I can finish Vicious Fae and Crave within the next week, I will have completed all of the prompts for the readathon. So wanted to pop on and say that, but I'm gonna do that now. It is Sunday today. If you hear banging, it's because Jamie is still working on the furniture we started last night. So I'm still reading Crave. I'm focusing on this at the moment, and I'm reading, it's not Warrior Fae, is it? Vicious Fae. I'm reading it on Kindle. I do have the physical copy, but I always tend to read like one physical book and one book on Kindle. So I'm reading that one on Kindle, and then once I finish this one, I will pick up the physical copy. I've just passed page 200 and I'm honestly having like mixed feelings about it. And I'm just reminding myself that it is young adult, and that when I was a young adult and the target audience for this book, I would have absolutely loved it, but I am finding it like a little bit cringe at some points. Like, she literally said she'd been there 3 days and the two most popular boys in the school were already fighting over her, and like in that sense it's just a little cringe. But I know it is like paranormal with wolves, witches and vampires, so I'm thinking that maybe Jackson, which is one of the love interests, is maybe gonna be Grace's fated mate, if fated mates are a thing within this world, and that's why it's so kind of like insta-lovey between the two. And at this point, Grace still doesn't know about the supernatural, so I feel like this whole book she's not going to find out until the very end, and that's how it's going to end, is her finding out about it. Mixed feelings. I am liking it, I'm just finding it a little cringe in some places. I'm going to take a bit of a break from reading. I'm now at page 300, or just over 300 of Crave, so I'm halfway through now. But basically, I will show you in a second, but I use like a Notion spreadsheet to make a note of all of the physical books that I own, and then I tick them off once I've read them. And it's been a while since I've gone through my shelves and taken off any books that I no longer have and added any new books onto the list, so it's probably going to take me a while. Seeing as it's October next week, I kind of want to make sure that all of my books are on this list, so then come December I can remove all of the books that have been marked off as read for 2023, so then I'm starting fresh 2024 with all the unread books that I own. So I just use the standard reading list template on Notion, and then just a bit of an example. So here I list all of the books that I own physical copies of. They're noted as a book, then I do whether I'm reading them or not, so done. Then I put the rating in, the authors, and I try and put the date I read it. So come the end of the year, all of the ones that are marked done I will remove, and then I should just have all of the not started books there. I don't know if this really does help me tackle my TBR, but it just makes me feel better knowing that I have this list, and it's definitely gotten shorter since the end of the year. I have purchased a lot of books, but I have also read a lot, sold a lot, so it does make me feel better. That's done. There's actually a books I've had for quite a while that I thought I already put on but I hadn't done, but it's done, and I'm literally just sat here on my laptop procrastinating, and I just kind of want to get on and finish with these last 2 books now, because I haven't read as much this month as I typically read. So basically every single book I've read this month has been on this TBR, and as you know, if you watch my channel, I really am a mood reader, and I am kind of struggling. And I'm looking at my shelves and there's some books that I want to pick up, but I'm telling myself I can't until I finish this readathon. I'm going to turn my laptop off and try and just read a bit more of Crave. It's Monday and I finished Crave, and I have mixed feelings about it. Like, I enjoyed it, but I don't think it needed to be nearly 600 pages long for the first book. I did find the whole thing a little bit cringy, but like I said before, I have to remind myself that it's young adult and I'm not a young adult anymore. That's terrifying. But yeah, I'm not like the target audience, so I did like it. I have the second book which I already owned, so I am gonna read the second book, and then depending on how I feel about that, I might continue with the series or I might not, but I'm definitely going to give the second book a go. And I feel that like I haven't really read too much about the series, but I feel like who she ended up with was like too easy, and I feel like that maybe she's going to get with the other guy later on in the series. And also when she found out about the supernatural, she took it like quite easy. I thought there would be more of a fight or an argument, but it was just kind of accepted quite easily, which let me down a little bit. But again, it's young adults, there's probably not going to be too much angst. So I have now started Vicious Fae. I have been reading it a little bit on the Kindle app, but now I'm just focusing on the physical book. I'm up to chapter 10 and I feel like I can't really do updates on this because this is book 3 out of 5 in a series, so if you haven't read it, I don't want to give away like any spoilers. I will say I'm really enjoying this one, but yeah, today is, like I said, today is Monday. I have this week off as far as I know, so I'm about to head over to my parents' house and pick up a load more stuff to bring back over. I know we've been in for a month, but I'm almost done of stuff from my parents' house, but I have loads of like stationery and journaling things, so now I've got my desk. I want to bring all of that over. My mum and I are going to go out on a walk. There's like a nature reserve sort of just over behind where I live now, and we've wanted to try it out since we noticed it, so I think we might do that today because it's not hot but it's sunny. It's like the perfect autumny weather to go for a walk. And then tomorrow I have a job interview, so I think this afternoon is going to be a very chill afternoon whilst I try and not psych myself out about that. The job interview that I had in the first week, I think it was, I was supposed to hear back last week and heard nothing, so I'm assuming I've not got it, but it's fine. I have another interview tomorrow, so maybe I didn't get that job because this one is going to be the one. My mum has just messaged me, so I'm going to head over to their house and I'll try and film a bit whilst we're on our walk. Back now. We went on our walk. We just walked through a little bit of the nature reserve, but it turns out it's really big and there's loads of different paths you can take, so we're going to explore that at a later date. But we just walked through like the woods to the shopping centre, picked up some lunch, walked back. I've had that. My mum's gone now. I sorted through the things that I brought over from mum's, but I'm trying to make like a separate desk organisation, setting up a desk writing space video, so I'm not going to put that in here because I'm hoping I'm going to make a separate video on that. It depends how much footage I actually end up getting. So yeah, I think now I'm going to try and prepare myself for tomorrow. So I think I'm just going to wash my hair, have a bath, get cozy, for the rest of the afternoon read Vicious Fae. It is Tuesday and I didn't really film too much yesterday because things kind of got a little bit overwhelming. So I mentioned yesterday about the job interview that I didn't hear back from. Well, I heard back from them and I've been offered the job, and I really wasn't expecting it, and I was just really overwhelmed yesterday. It's only like a Christmas temporary job and I've been offered like 16 hours a week, which I know probably doesn't sound a lot or a big deal to most people, but to me, who's suffered with anxiety really bad over the last few years, it's just such a huge thing for me. I'm trying to focus on the positives and about how it's a big thing and I've managed to accomplish something. Like, if at the start of the year you told me I would have successfully gone to a job interview, got a job and moved out, I wouldn't have believed it. So I'm just trying to focus on the positives, but I start Saturday and I'm terrified because the job that I like work at the minute is a 0-hour contract, so at least for 3 months I have like a set income, which is really going to help, especially with Yauk coming up. So that was like the first exciting thing, but I also do have a job interview today because I was just applying for loads of different jobs, and the one that I've applied for today is a permanent role, so I'm still going to go to it because, you know, a permanent role is more needed than a Christmas temp role, but the Christmas temp was just a plan to get me back into the working world as such. So yeah, I have an interview this morning as well. I've not even like had a chance to get nervous for it because I've been so nervous about starting this other job on Saturday. I stayed up last night reading quite a bit of Vicious Fae. I still can't get the name of the book right. I am 50% in now. That kind of helped me calm down a little bit last night. Yeah, it's just gone 9 o'clock. My interview is at 11:30, so I'm gonna make myself some breakfast now and then I'm gonna get ready and I might just sit and do some writing of my own. I don't know which project I'm going to work on, but I just need something to focus on for the next couple of hours before I have to leave. And this interview, like, I'm nervous for it, but I'm telling myself I do have all of the experience that's needed for it. And I've done an interview 2 weeks ago and was successful. I know they're different roles, but I just have to talk myself into things so I don't freak out. But yeah, that's what's happening today. So I'm going to have some breakfast, I'm going to get ready, and I will probably check in again this afternoon when I'm home. I'm back from the interview now. I'm honestly like not sure how it went. Like, it went okay and I answered the questions and they were like nodding and like, oh yeah, but there was one question that I just kind of like froze on, so that might have ruined it slightly for me, but they took me through and like introduced me to the team, which I understand is like probably part of the interview, but I took that as quite a positive sign that they like showed me where I would be working if I was successful and things. So I'm not too sure. I'm not holding out much hope, but it was also like not the job that I thought it was. Like when I got there, they said it was like temporary, just covering maternity, and I read that job over multiple times and I'm pretty sure it did not mention that it was only a temporary job. But if I was to be lucky enough to get it, I would still accept it, because at least I know that I'll be sorted for a year. Whilst I was out, there's like a shopping centre behind it, so I went in, I picked up a few things. I went in Waterstones because they had like big signs of buy one get one half price, but there wasn't anything in there that I wanted. I went into B&M and they have these limited edition Cadbury orange hot chocolates, so thought I would give those a go because I love Cadbury and orange chocolate is my favourite kind of chocolate. I went in the works and I picked up 2 books which I didn't really need, but I told myself I could treat myself, 1 for going to the interview and 2 for getting the job that I interviewed for yesterday. Oh, and they also said for this job I will find out on Thursday, which is great because if I do get it, I'm due to start the other job that I've accepted on Saturday, so at least I can say no before I start. But yeah, I picked up 2 books in the works. So I found Always Only You by Chloe Leese. I read Two Wrongs Make a Right by this author and I liked it, so I picked that one up. And then I also found Reckless by Elsie Silver, which was the last book in this collection that I needed. So I think this afternoon I'm just gonna do some more writing. I started writing this morning before I had to go out, so I'm gonna continue with that and try and read some more of Vicious Fae. It's Thursday. I haven't vlogged anything for a few days, but I finished reading Vicious Fae last night. I haven't really updated with this one as, like I said, this is the 3rd book in a series, so I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I think this is definitely my favourite book in the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac series so far. I was buddy reading it with Shannon, but I did kind of speed ahead quite a bit because I wanted to finish this before the readathon ended, so I think she's like halfway through maybe, and I did finish it and she's really not enjoying it as much as I did. I'm thinking about rereading Ruthless Boys and Zodiac Academy because Zodiac Academy book 9, the final book, comes out in April next year, so I definitely want to reread Zodiac Academy between now and then. And I haven't obviously read book 4 and 5 yet of this series, so once I do those I'm going to reread them. But I was thinking, whilst I reread Zodiac Academy, I might just take notes on every book and make like a video talking about the series as a whole and try and make it like as spoiler free as possible. But just whenever I post about like Zodiac Academy and stuff on my TikTok and a few times here on YouTube, people always like, is it worth it? And it is such a long series and the books are so long as well. It really is like a commitment. So I'm thinking I might start rereading Zodiac Academy from next month and try and do like a book a month, which I think would take me through to April. Just yeah, take all of these notes down so I can make like a long dedicated recommendation video or help you make up your mind whether you want to pick up this series. But the Ruthless Boys series is set before, so I think technically you're supposed to read this series before, but I've done it the other way around because I didn't realise that. But yeah, anyway, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars and I noted it last night on the Google Doc. So I have officially completed the readathon and I definitely slowed down on my reading this month. I pretty much only read the books that I was reading for the readathon, so it was quite nice to have like a dedicated TBR. But I am looking forward to getting back to my mood reading for next month because October is going to be very busy. I'm going to end the video here. If you watched all of these weekly reading vlogs, thank you. I hope you enjoyed them or maybe gained some recommendations from the books that I read. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you again next week.